This episode originally aired on August 5th, 2021 on Patreon. Our lawyer is on the show today, Bob Motta from the podcast Defense Diaries, one of my favorites. Go check that out.
Oh, yeah.
Like two birds, one stone. Got to come up see one of your shows, and then I can grab a drink with him.
That'd be good. Yeah. It remains to be seen the next time I have a show in fucking Syracuse, but
Hello,
Richard,
Bob.
man, I just got some correspondence from these fucking people, man, and I need to know what you're doing about this dog thing, man. I mean, what is going on? I don't even know what this letter's about. You need to explain to me so that I can try to help you. I'm not optimistic. I have to tell you right up front, I'm not optimistic.
Bobby, you know us. We're fine. I heard about this bridge and I wanted to go check it out. I wanted to stop this from happening anymore. You know what I mean? I didn't want to. I went there pro bono. The guys don't even know about it yet.
How exactly do you think you're going to be able to stop it? I mean, seriously, come on, man. I've been knowing you forever. You ain't stopping shit. You and I both know that. Now you're looking at a giant lawsuit. So you better get to solving something, buddy.
Okay, well, we did. I did great. You don't even know. These guys are going to help me out with the rest of it. I was just going to bring it to the table with the boys. We were going to go through it all, and we're going to figure. We got the last couple little minutes left of it, and it's done. Bob, don't worry about it. They don't have to sue.
Well,
us.
you know, look, man. People can sue people for anything, and these people are suing your ass. Okay, and we're looking at six figures here, pal, because the emotional distress. Oh, dude, it's unbelievable. These people. They're beside themselves. So tread carefully and you better get it solved. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, well, let's go through it. We'll figure out. And we got this. Don't worry. And gets, just in case we don't got this, you got a bit of money stashed away, right?
We'll make it work.
Don't worry, Bob. I got this.
An elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
All right, so I'll tell you what I've been up to, guys. I went down and checked it out. So the Overtoun Bridge, it's in Dumbarton, Scotland. Okay, it's a bridge and it crosses over the Overtoun Burn, which is a river, and it connects the east and west side of the Overtoun Estate, which has a castle on it. All right. To the locals, this place is called either the Death Bridge or the Dog Suicide Bridge. Now, since the 1950s, there have been reports of upwards to 600 dogs have leapt to their death from this bridge. All right. What is making the dogs do this? Is it a clever scent? Is it optical illusions? Or is it something much more sinister like the paranormal?
probably not that one, but
Probably not paranormal.
yeah, it's probably not that. But I'm open to the theories. We'll get into it, I know.
Okay. Before I get into any of that, we've learned a couple things being dicks so far, boys. What's a couple things you've learned? What have you learned so far, RJ?
Being a dick?
Being a dick. Being a private dick.
Oh, you mean solving mysteries and shit?
Yeah.
Oh, I've learned that I am not good at it.
Okay.
But I can lean heavily on Rick.
That's right.
I was going to say I learned that I can very specifically and conveniently get opioids in Baltimore. And I just got back from Virginia, so I did drive through. Yeah.
Well, that's a win. That's a huge win.
That's our lawyer talking. So that's wicked.
Did you learn that from The Wire? Because, I mean, that is pretty much true to life. So
I'll talk to you when the recording stops.
smart. Excellent. Good work.
Well, what I've learned is so far, what's helped us out the most is to figure out what's going on. We have to figure out what happened. So here's a little history for you guys. Dumbarton has a population of 20,000 people, and it sits upon the bank of Scotland's River Clyde. Now, it has a reputation of being a shitty small town. The people there all called it shit, One of the articles that I was reading about this, the guy interviewed 5 people from town, and all of them called it trash. And they said, "Why are you coming here? It's garbage." So it's known as a shitbox town.
Super surprising that it would have a suicide bridge then.
For dogs. Dogs are the happiest things ever, and they're jumping off the bridge. So
Yeah, they all think it's a shit town until you call it a shit town. Now we're looking at a slander lawsuit.
Yeah,
Great. You're just piling it on. Piling it on. Great.
It's known. Okay, so it's known now as a shit town, but in the Middle and Dark Ages, it was the capital of the kingdom of Strathclyde.
Which was a shit kingdom.
It was ruled by the ancient Britons. So maybe, because I don't like British people now. No offense, British people.
You're really cutting down on the number of listeners that you can have. You got rid of all of America last week. You're getting rid of the UK this week.
Nah, British people know I'm fucking with them. It's the Britons. It's not the Britons. I don't like the Britons. That's who is the kings. All right. So the castle, Dumbarton Castle, was a strategic military location, and it sat on top of Dumbarton Rock. And even the mythical Merlin was said to have had supper there. So this is a pretty famous place from the old times, the olden days.
It's famous because a fantasy wizard supposedly dined there.
That's what you say. Fantasy. I say reality. You prove that Merlin didn't exist. Prove it.
Prove that he didn't exist.
Exactly.
I'm guessing that's going to be as difficult as proving he does exist, which somehow makes you right, I guess. You got me.
I've seen pictures of him.
Photographic evidence of Merlin. Does he look like Sam Neill?
Yeah. Roadhouse Sam Neill.
Oh, okay.
So Overtoun is a nearby plot of farmland. There are farming areas. They were still farming areas from like the Dark Ages, Middle Ages, all the way up until 1859. And then it was acquired by Scottish industrialist James White. And he just got it started in his family business, which was chemical manufacturing. Okay. He actually became a partner in his father's chemical business in 1851. So 8 years before that. And after lots of years of success, he wanted to buy some land so his wife could be near his hometown, which was Dumbarton. The land, he bought that with the intention of actually building a mansion. And he hired a famous Glasgow-based architect at the time, James Smith, to design and contract the houses. And it was built in 4 years. So if you look at the castle, it's a pretty, I call it a castle. It's really a mansion. But if you look at it, it's fucking huge. They did that in 4 years. They can't even fix the potholes in my town in 4 years. I like the old school guys. I know they had like slaves, but I mean, they got shit done. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. Oh, man.
All that matters is the outcome, right?
I'm not saying we could do that today. It's just crazy how they could do that back then.
You're just saying, knowing they have slaves, it's cool what happened. I get it.
God, the suit grows.
It's cool that they could do that shit.
Because they had slaves. I hear you.
I'm trying to think of a joke that doesn't burn me. I think I'm just gonna back away from that one.
Yeah, I think it was the work ethic. We'll go with the work ethic theory. That's they just had a better work ethic back then.
The slaves?
No, fucks. No, I'm not even
slaves?
saying that word.
Jesus, what is happening here today, guys?
Oh wow.
This is getting dark.
Oh my God.
You can't even it's not, put it this way, it's not a thing that didn't happen. So like we can't say the word slave anymore and then it's bad. Like they had slaves. It's crazy that they could build shit in 4 years. I don't approve. I'm just saying it's crazy that could happen. It's crazy that fucking people used to fight in the Coliseum. They make movies about that shit. I'm not saying we should have Coliseums now and get the swords out and watch fucking people just hack each other's legs off. Not cool. Here, feed them to a lion.
Now that I'm down with.
As long as they're not indentured servants.
I'm pretty sure all the goddamn gladiators were slaves too.
They were.
Anyway, they were. He says, yeah, approved.
To completely change the subject, I lived in a castle while I went to college.
What the fuck are you?
I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
Are you a vampire? What?
There was a castle on my college campus, and they let like 14 people live in the top of it.
Me, Vlad, Nosferatu, we all just...
Were you called Lord Getz?
I don't know how. I think he just randomly got picked, but also it was like 80% female, so my odds were pretty good because there was a guy's side and a girl's side.
Yeah. 2 dudes and 12 chicks.
That sounds like a coven. That sounds like what vampire ratio of people. Usually like 2 master vampires and a bunch of women vampires.
Yeah, just hanging out from the ceiling upside down into the wee afternoon hours.
I thought that was a murder of vampires.
Yeah, murder of vampire. Is that what's a pack of vampires? Must be a murder.
It's not a fucking coven, I'll tell you that. That's like witches.
That's true. Okay, so Overtoun Mansion is actually a 45-minute walk uphill on a narrow, unpaved path to the farmland of Dumbarton, like to the city of Dumbarton. So it's a little bit of a walk, and you can't really take a car there even now. It's paved up there, but it's a little far away from the town, but still, it's nice. White and his family moved into the mansion in 1862, and then in 1884, James White died. 7 years later, his wife died, and their son, John White, moved into the estate and took over the family chemical manufacturing business. Now, I bring these people up because this is like 60 years now of having a chemical factory in this little town. So that comes up later. Just keep that in mind. It was 1800s with a chemical factory. Probably not good.
No. Tanning solvents, like, sinking into the drinking water. Sounds bad.
Everywhere. Yeah. So his son, John, wanted to expand the mansion. So he bought some more land and expand the mansion so that the western and eastern estates were split by a waterfall and a 50-foot gorge with a small river running through it. That's the Overtoun Burn. So to connect the estates, he got the bridge started in 1895. It was finished. I think it was 1895 it was finished. So we got it started a couple years before that. The bridge is constructed using rough-faced ashlar. That's like, I looked that up, and that's like it's like that old-timey fucking, it doesn't really weather. It looks, and it's easy to melt with. It's just cool that it's built. It's old school 19th century American fucking built bridge, baby.
Wait, American?
Or sorry, European. God damn it. It's not American. It's Scottish. I'm retarded. That's
Just
all.
You have our wonderful country on your mind. I understand. We are the center of everyone's world.
I'm a quarter Scottish, so I'm down with that. They build great bridges. That's just a fact. Yeah, it's a true story. They're known for their bridge building. Oh, and by the way, that's Sam Elliott, not Sam Neill in Roadhouse. Just for the record.
I was saying Sam Neill because he played Merlin in the television show Merlin.
Right, but then Richard said, "Oh, yeah, but
yeah, I let that one slide because it made no sense, so I didn't."
I was thinking Sam Elliott.
Yeah, well, clearly, because that was who
Who's
was
Sam
in
Neill?
Roadhouse.
Which one? Oh, Sam Neill's like the guy from fucking Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he's got the pan face, like the big round head.
However, I would watch a reboot of anything that Sam Neill was in if his character was then played by Sam Elliott.
Exactly. Bingo. Me too.
It's the weirdest.
Just to hear him talk, I don't even need to see him. I just need to hear him speak with that gravelly voice.
Exactly.
Yeah, the guy's a champion.
Beautiful, man.
While we're detracting, a group of vampires is called a brood or a clan.
Very well played.
Yeah, just a little sub mystery in there.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Did you say 600 dogs?
600 dogs on the high end. Don't worry, I get to do it.
This place is in the middle of fucking nowhere. Where are these 600 dogs even coming from?
It's over since the 1950s. We'll get to it. It's not in one day.
Well,
it's over years, 50 years. 2 dogs a year. Anyways.
All right, when we get there, I'll pull up a map and show you how far away it is from like civilization.
For sure.
Who taught you math? Two dogs a year for 50 years. That's 600 dogs.
The same guy that taught him about movie actors and what roles they played. That guy. Same guy.
Man, Bob, you must really make a lot of money off of him.
Fortune. I'm retired now. He pulled me out of retirement.
What do you want me to sign, Bob? What do you want me to sign?
Don't read it. Just sign it.
Okay. So the bridge comprises of 3 arches, one giant one in the middle to let the river through, and 2 little small ones for pedestrian paths on either side of the Overtoun Burn, just so you know. So in his later life, John was elevated to peerage and declared Baron Overtoun. So he got a baronship, which is I find kind of fun. John White's greatest legacy might be the aberrant working conditions at the chemical factory that prompted Labor Party leaders of 1899 to write about the conditions of the factory in a pamphlet entitled, and I quote, white slaves. So that's how bad of a douchebag this guy was. Everyone was like, you're even making the white people slaves back then.
Well, that makes me feel way better about the whole slave talk, though, to be honest with you.
That makes me feel worse because that means those people were racist as shit. Like, we don't deserve to be slaves. We're white.
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
some of the dark people slaves.
They were probably enslaving the Irish. Yeah, I mean, the Scots and the Irish didn't really get along that much. So, I'm assuming that they were Irish people, which is I'm a quarter Irish. Yeah, I mean, it's just a thing. They're prickly over there.
They're more racist than we are. They're able to be racist against each other, and they're all white.
Right, exactly. It turns like strictly to ethnicity as opposed to race over there. It's like, oh, you're fucking Irish. You are my slave now.
Insane.
So just so you know, many people died under the care of John White from the most horrible ways. Long-term exposure to chemicals, silicosis, and just plain toxic waste poisoning. Or John White wanted his legacy. It could have been that he put so much toxic chemical waste into the River Clyde that it still has environmental effects to this day. So maybe that was his legacy.
Is it possible that the chemicals are the reason he's barren?
I see what you did there.
Did what?
I thought you meant like Barren.
Yeah.
But he's really, I see what you did. It's a play on words. I see what you did there because he's Baron, like Baron Von Trapp, but Baron Overtoun.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, he's Baron, like Trump.
We should explain all of our jokes more often. I like that. Yeah.
Joe.
I usually don't know what you guys are talking about, and I try and go back to the suicide dogs, but I like the whole explaining it.
You're welcome.
Because he's not listening 80% of the time. So.
All right, listen, asshole. You just said that you were relying on me. You want me to solve the case, or do you want me to listen?
I apologize. I asked too much. You do you.
So I know what Lord Overtoun hoped his legacy would be is that he spent like millions of what's equal to millions of dollars in today's money that he spent on the Presbyterian Church. Made him feel definitely better for being a shitty person. So he was a big religious dude. But anyways, he died in 1908, childless. So the barony died with him. So he was the first and last Baron of Overtoun.
So he was barren.
Yeah.
He was.
Baron, yeah. His wife, Grace Eliza McClure, she was the Baron one, or Lady Overtoun, died in 1931, living a very solitary lifestyle. So once he died, she just kind of lived in grief in that castle by herself. Sad, barren.
Not really. I bet she was a fucking bitch too.
Yeah.
She was probably just rancid. And, people called him Baron Squared behind his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heir to the Overtoun mansion was their physician nephew, and he didn't like to go visit the mansion. He ended up just giving the house and the bridge to the people of Dumbarton in 1938. A part of it was donated as a park that still stands today, bearing the name of its last real baron, John White. The estate and bridge survived World War II by opening as a boarding house to wounded WW2 soldiers. So that was kind of good. Didn't actually get bombed, there was lots of bombings nearby, but nothing at the bridge. So it's cool.
Oh, that's too bad.
Unfortunate for sure.
For the dogs.
Think about how many dogs could have been saved if they bombed all those wounded vets.
Yeah, see, if the Nazis just would have bombed the bridge, we could just have some 50 dogs saved. Thanks, Nazis, for fucking up again.
What really bothers me is when I search the Overtoun Bridge and look on Google Images, every fucking stock photo has a dog in it. What assholes are taking their dog there?
After the war, the house was converted to a maternity hospital in 1947, and that hospital actually stayed open until 1970. And then it remained empty until 1975 when it became a tourism-type board building for the Dumbarton district called the Quality of Life Experiment, which I found was pretty fucking funny. That's what they call their tourism board, the Quality of Life Experiment. That lasted a year. And then in 1976, it was taken over by the Spire Christian Fellowship. It's like kind of like a summer camp for Christian youth.
I would just like to clarify something. I thought you were saying Dunbarton. I didn't realize it's literally spelled Dumbarton.
Dumbarton, yeah.
Like the word dumb.
Yeah. Dumbarton.
Right.
Fuck.
You had to you had to pretend like you already knew it. You're making the Americans look bad, man.
The Spire Christian Fellowship worked on the nature trail surrounding the facility, and they are now still a kind of a tourist attraction, along with the park, the mansion, and the bridge. Then in 2001, the house was bought by Christian Center for Hope and Healing, an organization run by Bob Hill, a Texas pastor. So Bob's the one trying to fucking sue us, this prick.
Bobby.
Bob still owns it, not Bobby, the other Bob, fucking Hill, douchebag. And he's from America, Texas pastor.
Oh my God, it's Hank Hill's son. Is that what you're telling me? Bobby?
I didn't even think of that.
The boy just ain't right. Bobby? Well, now we know. Now, I always wondered what happened to Bobby after King of the Hill stopped running. Now I know.
Yeah, the Dumbarton people think he's a cult leader, which is kind of fun. I hope Bobby Hill is a cult leader. According to their website, though, it's just like a family service place. Like it's for moms running, like single moms running away from their like abusive husband, like a place like that, like a boarding house, you know, shit like that. It has a bunch of family services like that. So I don't know what that means. They get them in there and then they indoctrinate them into their cult, and then they have little kids and shit. I don't know. It could still be a cult from what I know. So the Overtoun house moonlights from time to time as backdrops for movies because of its architecture and still standing. So I don't know. It was Cloud Atlas. Is the house there in Cloud Atlas at the beginning and at the end? Like, I don't know if you guys remember that movie, but
That was a really shitty movie, right?
Yeah, that's weird. That's the claim to fame.
yeah, it's done a bunch of TV and movies, but that's the biggest movie it's done is Cloud Atlas.
Wow. First it kills 600 dogs and then it kills that fucking movie. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Sam Neill saved it, though.
Sam.
He was in that movie.
Was he actually in that movie, or are you just being
No. Yeah.
Many locals still walk the area, tourists and various other looky-loos because of the bridge's fame. Like I said up top, for 60 years, there have been dogs jumping off to their death. This phenomenon has only gone widespread media attention since 2005, when 5 dogs jumped to their death in a 6-month period. They're jumping for no apparent reason at all. These dogs will jump the retaining wall right into the shrubs and rocks approximately 50 feet below. Some say the dogs, lucky enough to survive, run back up to the spot on the wall and jump again.
Wow.
Donna Cooper, dog owner whose dog Ben jumped off the bridge in 1995 in front of the entire family, including their toddler son, which was traumatizing for the little guy. Ben didn't die from the fall, but he was injured so badly the family had no choice to put down the dog.
Not the livestock, George.
Cooper is their kid, says that for years after the death of Ben, he would ask his parents if Ben's broken bones had been fixed in heaven.
How was that note ever recorded?
It's in the article, like straight
exactly.
up.
That is such a weird tag.
Yeah, it's a very strange anecdote about the story. A young boy named Coop asked if his dog's bone healed.
Yeah, I wrote that wrong. Cooper's Donna's last name. I wrote that wrong in my script here. The kid that doesn't say the kid's name. Oh, yeah, it doesn't say the kid's name.
Maybe it is his first name. Maybe his name's Cooper.
Cooper squared.
Yeah, Cooper.
Yeah. Donna Cooper, what she did is she put up a sign on both ends of the bridge that read, "Dangerous bridge. Keep your dogs on a lead." And it's still there to this day. She did that in 95. I've seen reports say that 600 dogs have jumped from the 1950s till now. I've also read that there have been 50 dogs that have died. So 600 have jumped, 50 that have died.
It's got a really good survival rate.
Pretty bad. Not terrible.
I mean, it's not bad.
Richard, it's more, it's if you don't know percentages, it's a lot.
Is it COVID percentages?
It's many dogs to few dogs.
Is it COVID percentages? Am I doing it right? Am I doing this right? So in the 1995 jumping of Ben, that's actually the earliest account in the media that I could find. I like dug around as much as I could. So they say from the 1950s, but I mean, like, the first one I see is 95. Dogs aren't the only people dying on this bridge.
Really?
Wait, dogs aren't people.
Sorry, dogs aren't. Yeah, they are. Dogs are my people. Dogs are my people. I thought they were your people too.
Well, they are, but they're not people.
Just because you share an IQ and drinking habits with them.
Just because I drink out of a dish doesn't mean I'm a dog.
It holds more liquid.
In 1994, Kevin Moy killed his 1-month-old child throwing it from the Overtoun Bridge. Moy came to believe that his son was Satan himself because of a birthmark on his kid's face. So to prevent him from bringing pestilence to the world, he just had to kill the kid. Yeah.
Well, a true hero then. Thankfully he
Got rid of that.
followed through. Otherwise,
for sure. I agree.
I mean, like, can we just verify that guy wasn't a veteran of some kind of armed forces before we call him a dink?
After he threw his kid off the bridge, he actually tried to jump himself. He was stopped by his screaming wife. His wife actually stopped him, which I would have been like, if that was my wife chucking my kid off the bridge, I would have been like, you go too, fuckhead, right? But
yeah, shit, I would have pushed him.
Yeah, exactly. Whoops, he jumped too.
He followed him right in.
He was detained at the Overtoun house, so they got security after him. When he got there, he tried to slash his own wrists. So Aegon, his son, actually died the next day at the hospital from trauma because he survived. So they actually thought he might live, which is fucked. During the 2-day trial, was not to determine if he was guilty of killing his son, but if he was criminally insane. So
the insanity defense.
He sat there expressionless with his psychiatric ward nurse beside him. They did find him not criminally responsible, found insane at the time, and was sentenced to psychiatric care until found to fit leave by medical staff. So there was no actual year amount. He had schizophrenia. So I get him. He's sick. But why the fucking dogs? Okay. We got 6 theories here. Theory number 1, the dogs are actually suicidal. Now, if this is true, what I think is they either know that they live in Scotland or have been recently told they live in Scotland and can't come to terms that they are now Scottish.
It's a very green country.
Yeah. If you're Scottish, you're required to wear a kilt. No dog wants to wear a kilt. All right.
Well, fuck, dude. Kilts are awesome.
If I was forced to wear one, I'd have suicidal tendencies too. So the bridge just seems like a good place as any to go through with it. If there's suicide, I'm joking, obviously. Dogs can't be suicidal, but people do think this theory, like the dogs are just suicidal. Dogs can't be suicidal. They're not self-aware enough. Dogs just are happy all the time. And they also get joy from very simple things.
Right. And typically if when dogs are ill, and they're not feeling like they're going to live for much longer, they usually find
a bridge,
quiet place or a bridge. And they're like, fuck it. I'm calling it. I'm calling this shit. I saw some other asshole dog do it. I'm going to try it. Yeah. I agree. The suicide thing is a non-starter.
Yeah, it's not really, like you said, dogs, if they get suicidal, which what they kind of call it when they can experience heavy grief too and just not eat. They'll just go hide in a corner and just like, if they're like, do you remember that book Where the Red Fern Grows? Do you know that one?
Dude, it's like my favorite book of my youth. Like no bullshit.
Me too. So I swear to God, I just auditioned for a thing for like a play thing, and they're like, read a book. So I brought Where the Red Fern Grows, and I read the part where the other dog dies, like after the first dog got killed by the bobcat.
You did not.
I swear to God, I'll show you.
That's crazy. Richard knows how to read.
It's Old Dan and Little Ann. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's a class. Have you never read that? What the fuck's wrong with you?
No,
Jesus,
it's amazing. It's 100 pages. It's great.
Yeah, it's an amazing book. It's great. Kid, like, saves in this tin can because he wants to buy these 2, red bone hunting dogs that hunt coon. Dude, it's an amazing book.
Yeah, it's my second favorite from a kid. My favorite is Treasure Island.
My first was probably The Outsiders. I loved me some S.E. Hinton, man. Stay gold.
Second, theory number 2, dog whistle. Some people say it's due to the design of the bridge, and from time to time when the wind is blowing just perfectly, the dogs hear a sound and are compelled to jump off the bridge. So you know how dogs have different hearing than us? Mm-hmm. An acoustic anomaly is what they're calling it. Other people who believe in this theory point out that there's nearby telephone lines that could be making the sound, and they even think it might be the nuclear base at Fastlane. I guess it's not that far away. Could be making the sounds as well. Acoustic experts have actually gone there though to check the phenomenon out, and they haven't heard any type of dog whistle. But that doesn't mean that they were there for long enough. This would the naysayers say. They weren't there when it was happening.
Yeah, but that's bullshit because it implies that all dogs respond that immediately to a dog whistle, which is just 100% not the case.
Not at all. I've never seen a dog jump like leaping.
We bought a dog whistle for our dog, and all she did was the head cock thing.
Right.
Yeah, she didn't kill herself. So
And RJ was trying pretty fucking hard.
I was blowing it. I was like, please, I can't keep buying this fucking food.
I even brought her to the fucking bridge.
To the bridge.
Yeah, that was my mistake. We were doing it on a cliff. I think we needed the bridge because it's
Clearly.
Yeah.
a little bit more melancholic and dramatic.
So theory number 3 is paranormal activity. So here's some statements from dog owners whose dogs have jumped off the bridge. Quote, something overcame Bonnie, and as soon as we approached the bridge, Bonnie froze, then became possessed by a strange energy and ran and jumped off the parapet. Another owner said, it happened instantly. My dog cleared the parapet without even touching it. Something went through it like a poltergeist. Scotland overall is known to be superstitious. It is the home of the Loch Ness, lest we forget. So what they did in 2005, the Scottish Society for Psychical Research sent teams to investigate the bridge.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now, what they reported was ghost children grasping at legs to those crossing the bridge, and one unhappy ghost man, 2 Victorian ghost women, one wearing a white shawl and one wearing a gray shawl.
Big day for the Psychic Society.
Yeah, exactly.
They really filled out the old spectral scavenger hunt.
They didn't find any ghost dogs, though. That's what they said. They found every other thing but ghost dogs. No ghost dogs.
So wait, they went there and they were like, look, guys, I'm sorry to say it's not supernatural. However, we did on our way, because we're so good, find 2 ghost guys, some ghost bitch, a couple of ghost kids. But it's unfortunately the dog thing isn't supernatural.
Well, all dogs go straight to heaven, so there's no ghost dogs.
Oh, that's fair. That's true, because that is true.
Yeah, we all know
That's
that.
true. That is true. I've seen a multitude of movies about that. Some were saying the psychical research guys were saying maybe these ghosts are people that worked in the factory, John White's factory, people that died in that experiment. Also, a psychic, Mary Armour, visited the bridge with one of her Labradors to investigate. So she brought her own dog.
Was the dog psychic too?
Of course.
Yeah.
Don't be absurd. Obviously.
Mary Armour,
Makes sense.
psychic dog handler. Once she got there, she said there is no unusual sensations except for calmness and serenity. She did admit her dog did pull her to the edge of the bridge while walking him on his leash. So, okay, the dog was just curious. Relax. The most famous ghost is said to be the ghost of the grieving wife of John White, who is seen often in ghost form around the property, still grieving. She is said to coax the dogs off the ledge of the bridge. No one knows why she would do this, but that's the belief.
What a stupid fucking theory.
Yeah.
This woman's just upset. Yeah, let me just get some dogs to jump off a bridge.
This is how you know ghosts aren't fucking real, is shit like this, because people will do anything they can to try to make it a ghost, and it's going to sound absolutely absurd.
Boo.
The fucking, oh, the wife of the guy who's named after the bridge. Yes, that lady. She's got a bag of kibble underneath the, whatever the fuck you call the under of a bridge.
The underside.
Yes, the underside of the technical term.
The under of the overturn.
I'm trying to find this guy's name so I could show you guys something. Where is this cocksucker right now? This is this lady of Overtoun theory is brought on by this guy named Paul Owens. He wrote a book on the subject. It's called The Baron of Rainbow Bridge.
That was actually, before you explain this, I know exactly what you're going to tell us what it was, but that was actually my theory before you even started talking. But now I'm like 99% sure I figured it out.
Damn, this website is from 2001.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. But look at the guy.
What the fuck?
Scroll down a bit.
What is he, an Italian magician?
He looks like a 1840s Joe Pesci.
He's got the Ralph Cifaretto haircut from The Sopranos.
Guido, the killer pimp.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like Ricky Gervais, but he's wearing this fucking weird tie thing. Like, what is that?
Was he about to eat lobster? What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
He's about to kill some dogs and throw them off a bridge.
Paul Owens is the one murdering the dogs. I like that.
Yeah, just so he could write up. But what is that picture?
Bill Pullman. That's what he looks
Bill
like. He looks
Pullman,
like
yeah.
Bill Pullman.
Like people believed the dogs are going off the bridge. Is that what he thought people were questioning?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're all going straight to Asgard, except if they don't die immediately, they have to try again.
Okay, so I love this. I love this guy. Not only is he the author of that, he's a teacher of religion and philosophy, and says he's been studying this for 11 years, and he's convinced that it's the ghost. So he's been studying this for 11 years.
So there's a counter on the bottom of his website that tracks how many visits he has.
Yeah.
His total visit number is 8,238.
Since 2001.
Yeah.
2001.
I've probably put on like 10.
His website was created, it looks like, in 2014. So Richard, do that math for us real quick.
7.
That's 600 dogs a year.
I mean, I want to know who's the asshole who actually, instead of trying to stop their dog, took that picture of that black and white dog leaping off the bridge.
It's a Photoshop for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's an action shot. We need an action shot. We knew the history of the bridge, but thought, there's no way dogs jump off. As soon as we said that, we saw Sophie jump off. So I assume that's Sophie just leaping off the bridge, his own dog.
I love how everybody in line for his book signing is a 70-year-old woman.
That's what I was thinking. Awesome.
No, and that one dude with super long hair all the way in the back.
That guy's got a beard though, so I feel like he works the sound for the event or something. Everyone else is the only 4 tickets this guy sold.
Yeah, he's just there to heckle.
I used to be the roadie for Led Zeppelin.
I was Metallica's roadie for 6 months.
I like when authors normally do book signings and they have a bunch of books on their table. This guy has 1 book on his table. Well, 2 books in the one he's signing. That's the total number of books he has.
Yeah, that guy looks like Bill Pullman with Ralph Cifaretta's fucking haircut. That's what it is. Bill Pullman with Ralphie's haircut. Yeah.
Who designed the cover of this fucking book, dude?
Maybe it was the same person who designed the website, which was Opal Weenus.
All right. Even the dog expert you're going to learn about very soon, David Sands, admitted when he had brought his dog up there, the bridge had a special feeling. So maybe there's some sort of dog hating ghost at Overtoun. I don't know. I'm going to go with no, but maybe. You never fucking know, right?
Rejected.
I'm with you. Number 4 is kind of it's a thin place. Theory number 4. Now this is kind of paranormal, but it's also mythological. I could have put it in the paranormal, but I gave it its own little section because I find it funny. So the Overtoun estate has long endured. The Overtoun estate has long endured rumors of supernatural happenings in local Celtic myth. So during the Dark Ages and stuff like that, that farm was considered to be a thin place. In Celtic times, meaning it was a weak point between 2 worlds, material and spiritual, heaven and earth, Asgard and whatever the fuck the other one is. Midgard and Asgard, that's what it is. The famous poem, The Rainbow Bridge, describes a bridge where dogs cross over to the afterlife. So maybe this bridge is just put in that thin spot, and these dogs see their counterparts in the afterlife and just want to go visit them. I don't fucking know. It's a thin place, you know?
Yeah. I'm going to go hard no on that one.
Yeah, me too. But it's fun.
Now, here's this thing. It's not quite paranormal. It's incredibly paranormal.
It's only paranormal. It's just like it wasn't going with the ghost theme, you know? It was going with like it's just like a different dimension. So it was kind of a different paranormal, maybe I should have said.
Not paranormal, just spiritual.
Yeah. What's your sign, Bridge? All right. Number 5, a minky smell.
The smell.
In 2006, a Scottish Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals sent Dr. David Sands to go find the answers. Dr. Sands is a canine psychologist.
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. This would probably make him one of the only people to properly trained to investigate the theory if dogs were committing suicide. So they got a dog psychologist. Isn't that a fun
God,
thing?
what a snake oil salesman. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? How could I'm getting it? Like, I mean, they can't communicate with us. Like, his eyes look sad. His eyes look sad. I've diagnosed your dog with depression. Great depression. Great depression.
Here's $600 worth of pills.
Yeah. And my bill is $1,000. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something.
Yeah. So, anyways, when he got there, he brought his dog, his little dog. Walked the bridge. Like I said, the dog. It felt eerie to him, but he looked around at the bottom of the bridge and he found scratch marks for the European mink underneath the bridge in a mossy area. So all dogs involved in the suicide attempts have been long snout dogs. The longer snouts mean they can smell better.
Sniffers.
Okay, it's been like houndy dog. Yes. And all the incidents happened on sunny, clear, and dry days. So there wasn't any rain or anything like that. Big, sunny, smells can fly through the air kind of days.
All right.
So with all these factors in place, Dr. Sands did some experimentation. He took 10 dogs of different breeds that had long snouts, and all the ones that kind of jumped off the bridge, all the breeds that jumped off the bridge. And then he put 3 plastic containers, each with their own unique animal smell. One of them was the mink. The other 2 was like cow and chicken, I think it was. I can't remember what it was. It was something else. I don't fucking know. I didn't write it down. 7 out of the 10 went straight to the mink smell.
Wait, can you clarify that though? Did he put it at the bottom of the bridge and try to see if they would jump?
No.
Or he just...
That's what I thought. There would have been a real PETA problem there.
He was in a room.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a controlled environment just to see if the smell draws the dogs. It wasn't like...
Okay, so he just proved that dogs can smell.
Well, no one knew they could prior to that experiment. So,
but what I want to know is how they felt about the mink smell. You know, what were they?
I mean, he is a dog psychologist, so we're bound to find out.
I was just gonna say, minks are the only ones who can actually communicate to dogs in their register, and they're the only animal that knows what the racial slur for dog is in their language. So they can hear it and they go after it in this angry...
The dogs hear dink and they're just fucking off.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You mangy cur. Yeah, so here's my thing with that theory. I like that theory, actually. I mean, it's plausible at least. But like, so say for instance, like my dog hates water, right? So if I'm in a swimming pool, like that fucking guy knows. Like he's not jumping into the pool because he fucking hates the water. You know, it's like the dogs can sense like danger.
Yeah. So the scent of Dr. Sands proposes, since the days were nice and dry, the scent of the mink, who anally secrete wherever they go, by the way, would be easy to detect with long-nosed hounds. So apparently minks just fucking have a weird, gross gland like a skunk. I didn't know that. Since they're dogs, because when he had his dog up there, he put on a GoPro on it. And his dog's like a little poodly dog. It's not like the same kind of dog, but he definitely put a GoPro to kind of get a view from what the dogs would see. All right. So they can't see over the ledge, according to his video, and they jump up under the tapered ledge. So it's like on an angle on either side. So they'll jump up trying to find the smell, and they'll just go into hunting instinct and accidentally fall, and not even knowing there was a ledge there. Right. The reason they didn't start jumping until the 1950s is that the European mink was only introduced to Scotland in the 1930s, and they didn't make their way to the mansion for another 2 decades. So yeah, the dogs just couldn't see. So they would smell and they would assume, because if you drive up to that castle or estate, the bridge looks like it's on flat ground. It doesn't even look like there's a ledge. You'd have to look over. You can hear it. You can see from the video I saw, you can hear a river passing through underneath it, but just by visually, if you're walking from a far distance, it looks like just straight on. Then you get there. Obviously it's a fucking bridge, but dogs aren't that smart.
What you're telling us, which does clarify things. I was under the impression that they were standing like on the ledge, like, you know, on the railing of the bridge that I see behind you, and then leaping. So what you're saying is they were essentially just from the ground, they'd catch the scent and then they'd just leap over whatever the little sidewall is to their death.
Yeah.
So they weren't standing on the ledge looking over.
No.
Like, oh shit. Okay, well that makes more sense.
Yeah, the dogs will hike, but there's a couple theories in his, holes in his theory. So it does make a lot of sense. But if you think about it, the dogs have been jumping off from the same spot for years. It's not like they jump off all over this place. So why would it do that? It seems like a weird place to do it, right? And when they survive the fall, why do they run back up and jump off again? That doesn't, now they know there's danger, right? I don't think they would, first of all, just jump off again. They'd probably go to where the mink smell would be under the bridge. And why do the owners of the dogs say that their dogs got possessed where they were different dogs and just jumped off? Was it a smell that changed their personality that much? Or was it ghosts? Ghosts. It's probably the fucking smell. Now, the last theory, which is my theory is it's not really happening and people are dumb. First thing I did is I Googled dog fall off cliffs and my search engine fucking almost exploded with like a million stories of dogs accidentally falling off of ledges, jumping off of ledges, falling, doing ledge shit. This could just be a perfect storm for the dog to fall. Okay. The bridge is barely noticeable until you look at it from the side, like I said. And while driving on the road, it looks flat. Okay. And at first glance for a human, even I was confused. So, and I'm smarter than a dog. I don't know if I can count anymore, but, I think the real issue here is that people aren't leashing their fucking dogs and letting them run around in dangerous spots. It has nothing to do. Like I look back and I think I could find 6 places where someone said that their dog had jumped off. They say there's 50 that died and 600 that have jumped. Well, there'd be more somewhere, especially when they started getting dug up, right? 6 is all I could find. And that's since the 50s, since 1995, actually, because that's the first one I found. So
right.
I don't know, man. It's a bridge. There's dogs. People are stupid. That's what my theory is. I don't think that even the scent thing even makes sense because all he did was fucking get the guy to like put them in a room and said, "Can you smell animals?" I agree. They can.
Yeah, that is right. That's no bearing, So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that is an inordinate amount of dogs to jump over a fucking bridge, though. I mean, well, how many people cross that bridge, per year? I mean, is it like a you said there's
every dog owner in the area.
So, but there's only 20,000 people.
Glasgow is not that far. People go there for historical shit. Like they go and look at the house, right? That's it. It's not, and then there's that, whoever lives on that fucking compound, the cult kids, all the cult people. So there can't be that many people going up there with dogs. You're right.
Yeah. And, I mean, look, dude, once it becomes like kind of fucking well known that your dog might jump off the bridge, what kind of fucking asshole brings their fucking dog over there? Like, oh, I'm going to see if my dog will jump. Yeah. I mean, what kind of douchebag does that? Like, seriously. I mean, like good old, whatever, Bill Pullman with Ralphie's Hair fucking wrote that book in 2001. So it's like, it's been out there. The story's out there. It's like people know about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's,
that guy's a teacher at Glasgow University.
Pump the brakes for a moment. I don't think people know about it because of that man's book. I have a feeling he's not really hitting his projected sales figures.
Yeah, but it's unfair to him because had it not been for 9/11, the book would have been huge, but it was overshadowed during the time.
That tracks. I believe you're right because he and George Bush are mortal enemies. I've heard that. And yeah. And because George Bush knew that was going to happen, that's why he did 9/11. So.
George Bush is a skinny tie guy, and Paul Owens is a large tie guy.
Right.
He's a big fan.
Yeah, he kind of jumped the shark on that though, I think back in 2001 when he
I think Paul Owens is like, look at this, George Bush. I can make dogs jump off a bridge. And George Bush is like, watch this. I can make guys jump out of a building.
God, you were so worried about upsetting veterans and
oh man,
I give a fuck a little bit, but I'm glad I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Never forget.
On that note, what I'm saying is I also agree that it didn't happen because every article or research that you can find says a different number. Some say 50 to 100, some say 600, some say 300. And I could not, for the life of me, find a list because I was going to find a list, figure out all the weather patterns, figure out whether or not it rained during any of them, because then that supports the smell theory. But if nobody's making a list of this, it can't actually be happening.
I like that. That all tracks because I think maybe the real mystery here is why does Dumbarton suck so much that they need to say it's the hot spot of dog suicide of the world in order to feel interesting? I think the real problem is how do we go to Dumbarton and fix their self-esteem issues?
Exactly.
Okay, you're talking about a town that coagulated from the swamps of a chemical plant. And this is what they think.
Listen,
is...
also, you have a real opportunity, right? If you're the town that owns the dog suicide bridge, right? Market the fuck out of that. If you look at this place on here, I'll share my screen. If you look at this place on Google Street View, what the fuck's going on here? This doesn't even look like a nice place to walk.
Jesus Christ.
This is garbage.
What is that large
random van?
That dumpster's bigger than the van.
They claim that there's a ghost in this window up here. I'm pretty sure it's just a glare, but
wow.
Ghosts? No, look, I mean, for starters, I don't believe in ghosts, but if I did, I'd be fairly certain they wouldn't even want to fucking hang out there.
So I can't read this sign, but I'm willing to bet that it says, "Don't let your dog jump off the edge."
Right.
It probably says, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
If you can read this, you've made mistakes. Throw your dog off the bridge.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's other places to walk. You don't need to go across that bridge.
Maybe that is what it was. Maybe it was mercy killings.
Yeah, you've got to either spend $4,000 to have a surgery on your dog that's not going to work, or you bring them to the Rainbow Bridge.
They probably weren't even sick. They probably were just like, "There's no way we're getting out of here." It's
okay. You joke.
You'll never be happy.
But in the rare, like 1 to trillion odds that actually is the Rainbow Bridge, probably the best way to let them go.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. If it is the Rainbow Bridge, you know what? We're actually, if you don't do it, you're kind of mean because they could die in any number of ways. But at least if you bring them to the Rainbow Bridge and hike them off there,
and then it takes years to get a flight for a dog to Dumbarton.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You might take a ship,
especially with COVID. I mean, there's probably a backup. Yeah. How many have died since COVID?
Over 50% of dogs that are carried in the underbelly of an airplane die.
Yeah. Yep. I would never fly my dog. That shit is horrifying.
Fucking, it's not heated down there. You're in the fucking belly of the plane. It's like cold fucking.
They drug the shit out of them.
Yeah, but there's a lot of minks in the belly of the plane. So that's.
Oh God. So they die getting called slurs. That's terrible.
Mangy.
It's the ghost minks. It's the ghost minks coaxing them off with slurs. That's what it is.
Jump off the plane, jerk off, you mangy cur. Jump off the plane.
Yeah, I'm with you on the bullshit stuff, though. Like, I honestly can't even get her to jump off the bed when I call her name. So right. I don't see a mink getting silly. And that's the most she'll move for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I think it's a way somebody saw it happened a couple times in a row. So everyone's like, it's haunted. If you want me to get honest about it, like I think just it built itself up way too quick. And then I don't know about this fucking Paul Owens guy. That's the main weirdo to me. Like, no offense, Paul Owens. Like, I hope you get at least one sale of your book from this because I'm just taking the piss out of you. You believe what you believe. But I mean,
also, this isn't even a fucking castle.
It's a big house sided with concrete.
Like a fucking estate with like drive it.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sorry. I apologize that we don't know what castles look like. Baron fucking gets.
Oh, yeah. We couldn't all go to Vampire University.
Right.
Hey, man, get cultured. I don't know what to tell you.
Major in hematology or whatever the fuck.
Brooding.
Hematology.
I've heard your evaluation of this case, and I find it wanting in every single way, shape, and form. So, I mean, my legal analysis, the final analysis, is that y'all are fucked. That's what's going on here. Y'all are fucked. Start hitting that Patreon, people, because these guys are going to need it to pay this lawsuit off because they're going down.
Getsy, do you think you can cash in any of those lemonade beers or whatever the fuck it was? Do you think watermelon beers? Can you cash in some of those?
I think I can get us some resale value to cover the case. Now for the 9/11 comments, we might be a little fucked.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have that big drawer full of bearer bonds you have.
Would it change anything if I said a follow-up theory in the 11th hour here is that people in Scotland nationwide are fucking their dogs.
Oof.
And that's
Lord.
probably the reason that they're
Lord. Oh my. I think they tend towards the sheep. That's what I hear.
Oh, okay.
That's
All
true.
right. So to be clear, I did not save it.
I hear
Yeah.
that
My bad.
Dog trying to escape from the constant anal abuse from its owner. I mean, maybe it's a theory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going off of mostly the dog Richard has behind him. It looks like it's finally happy.
Right.
It's wearing a shirt.
Yeah, it will never have to again.
I'm free.
Yeah, that's the same shirt that somebody would put on their little boyfriend slave or something. It's like
Right.
it's like something fucking Dahmer would dress one of his slaves in.
Oh man. Before he ate him.
Yeah, exactly. So that
Yeah.
dog got out before it got bad.
Yeah, exactly. Dog was smart.
Well, what are you gonna tell him? You just gonna tell him we'll pay his fucking lawsuit? You want to settle something out of court? Just tell him I'll give him a fucking Patreon or something.
We don't want this going into court because, the way that you sometimes ramble on and offend everybody, we're looking at multiple lawsuits if you get on the stand and just shit all over everybody. So I think our best option here is to, gather up funds and go at them with, a reasonable settlement, and I'm thinking, like a box of Milk-Bone dog biscuits and a big bag of dicks, and then go fuck themselves. That's my,
Okay.
that's, yeah.
I like it.
One final question: would killing Paul Owens help?
I think so.
Okay, well then I have good news for you guys. We can talk about it next time though.
I just watched Private Dicks and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on.
Hey there, all you private dickheads. That's probably not the name we're gonna stick with. Anyways, RJ here. I am here to tell you thank you for listening to another episode of Private Dicks. If you liked what you heard, go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere they take your reviews, drop us 5 stars, say something nice. Also, what you just heard was from last season. If you want current episodes as they're dropped, head on over to patreon.com and search up Unethical Podcast. That's our mother podcast. I was not aware Private Dicks was a spinoff. I'm going to renegotiate my contract. On Patreon is a full 16-episode season more of Private Dicks, uncut videos of each episode, and many more things are getting added all the time. You can also find all of Unethical's content on there, so go listen to that. And if you're already a patron, fuck yeah, dude. You're the best.
Hi, I'm Celeste.
Hi, I'm Richard.
Hey, I'm Christy.
And I'm Tally.
We're the hosts of Unethical Podcast. Every episode, we take a humorous dive into a case study that poses an ethical question, like, should mentally ill murderers ever be released?
No.
We discuss what the outcomes of these cases are and what they should be, with a unique guest host every episode.
Richard needs some more testosterone around here.
Nah, I think it's mostly coming from Celeste.
Girls are mean.
Our podcast is no holds barred, true crime, comedy, adult content, and definitely not for everybody.
But like most people aren't like can handle swear words and stuff, right? Am I right about that?
No.
No.
You can subscribe wherever you eat your podcasts to listen. Follow us on Instagram where we post our teasers to guess what's coming next. And join us on Facebook to get involved in the conversation. Welcome to Unethical Podcast.